How the world doing today? It's your boy P.Pace. I'm here today with the first episode of Talks from Scratch. I'm here with J. Stu, Ashley, and Mr. Trey right here. And today we're going to talk about relationships and how single people and just couples can just bridge that gap and bring things together. So these guys have been married for 15 years. So we just want to take in on what these guys have done to make it work and what we can do better as single people to try to pull our significant others in if we have that, if we choose to do so. So today we're going to start off with expectations. What we expect from our partner in relationships and how we can keep it going and just, how can we do right? Because a lot of days, we get these young girls and young men and they just don't want to do it. So we're going to talk to Mr. Ashley and Mr. Trey and get it together like that. So, the first thing, I met a young lady the other day and she was telling me, that she didn't want to be committed to somebody forever. So I asked her, what do you expect from a man when you meet him? And she just said, I'm willing to fall in love and get out of that, if it's 3 years, if it's 5 years, if it's 2 months. So I just went and thought, you're nobody to be with. So how do you guys feel about that if someone wants to approach you like that and bring that to the table?
You want to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. Especially when we started dating, you remember how we hung out a lot and everything,
Yeah,
and then we had that expectation to where the next relationship I get into, I'm in it to win it. It's for the long haul, for marriage, because I have that belief. I've only signed up for one marriage and one family. That's all I get. That's all I have in this life.
Yeah.
So it's disappointing that, and it's heartbreaking that someone thinks that in this world now where we are, that there's not a love that can last forever.
Mm-hmm.
Because it can.
Okay.
It can.
Okay.
What you think, Trey?
Well, I think a lot of younger folks these days, they sell themselves short. They look at a long-term commitment and they think that's not what it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
It's not supposed to be that way. Well, it really is supposed to be that way. You find somebody that can, you find a young person that you can meet and grow with,
mm-hmm.
somebody that can hold you down, help you out, be a helpmate, and you do that same thing for them. And I just think the younger generation is losing out on that. They don't have that different mindset.
Gotcha. What about you, J. Stu?
I just think it depends on, I don't know, it depends on the person of what they want. I think a lot of people, our generation kind of grew up with single parent households and things like that, so I don't think they've seen it to know. But so I think it's just basically what that person wants. I think a lot of people in our time, like he said, they don't think, and like she said as well, they don't think it'll last that long. So they just kind of, like he said again, sell themselves short. So they're just like, oh, well, that's it, that's cool, that's fine, I'm good with it.
But they don't make the effort to work.
That's right. Quick to call it quits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I grew up in a household that I probably should have been in a single family household.
Mm-hmm.
My parents' relationship was bad.
Yeah.
And I learned from that situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key. I learned from it. I didn't use it as a crutch.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn from other folks, and you do that to make yourself better.
Okay, so if you come from a single parent home and you don't have that person to go talk to or someone to go learn from, and you find somebody that you may like or you may want to be with, how would you tell somebody that's single to go about that? What should they expect from their partner or even expect from themselves going through that situation?
Well, first of all, you have to be ready to be in a relationship when you are looking, okay? Because a lot of times, some of us are still very selfish and set in our ways to where we don't want to give and take. I'm not saying lose yourself in the relationship where you become a completely different person, but there are some times that, you need to cook dinner or expect to, cook dinner and have food. And then, when you explain that to, single girls or single ladies, they're just like, wait, hold up. They get this, they get this attitude and everything. But, everyone has a role in the relationship. It's just like, a business as well, where you have the CEO, you have, the assistants, you have your whole committee, and that's how, our family functions and the marriage functions as well. He has the last say in it. That's it, But if you have a partner in your life, like he is a man that I will follow, and I have complete trust in him because I know who he follows, which is Christ.
Exactly.
So he puts his trust there, and so whatever his decision that he makes for our family, I'm going to follow him with that because I put that trust. I believe and I put that trust, in him, that he's going to do the best by me and by our family the same way I'm going to do the best by him and by our family.
Okay, but when you get those, what about those people that when you say, oh, I'm going to follow him? Nowadays you get women that, oh, I don't need a man. I don't need to follow you. I can do this myself. I got this. Like, what you bringing to the table? What you going to do for me? So how you go about that, or get around that, I should say?
I mean, we've had this progressive movement for quite a few years now, and you see what society is kind of turning into, right?
Yeah.
We got young folks that are just out there doing bad things, and not just young folks, old folks too, but since we've had the breakdown of the family, we got non-traditional families now, which it's cool, for non-traditional families, but to me you need that dad to be a meaningful role in that household, as well as you need that mom to be play that meaningful role in that household. So I would just say, you see with the single parents, because they've had the opportunity, or they had to be forced to play other roles that they didn't have that man there, and you see the outcome.
Or woman,
that's true. Or woman, that's right. But you see the outcome that's happening in society right now, and I just think that's a key part of it. You don't have that bond of the family anymore.
But not all outcomes with single parent homes,
That's correct. That's
So,
right.
but I think if you're a child that grows up in a single parent home, you could see how much easier it could have been for your parent if there was that solid support for them. So even though you grew up in that environment, I want that partner in my life, so I would not have to struggle as much as I saw my parent struggle and how heartbroken they were in certain times, because it's not even just like financially, just sometimes when you want to come home and just talk.
Yeah, just ask my
just there, just to chill, anything, and just with that struggle, was like for them. And so when you see that, you're like, okay, this is what I want for my life, for my home, So no matter if you grew up in an environment where, your parents were on drugs or whatever and it was dysfunctional, you still learn from that what you don't want and what you do want for your life.
I got you. What about you, Jay Stu? I know you come from a household with both parents there, and I know you're living in this society, in this generation where we got all that social media and people telling lies and playing games. So you being a single woman, what do you expect when you meet a young man and he's trying to court you or maybe date you or whatever the case may be? He wants to get to know you better.
That's funny. I just think it's a different time. My mom and I actually were talking about this over Thanksgiving break, and she was telling me, like, when my dad started dating, like, there was no cell phones, like, no social media. She was like, he would have to, like, come to my dorm room to, like, see me, like, come get me. Like, they would have to set up times, and, the phone call, she was like, there's a pay phone down the hall that you had to, like, go and, like,
so the woman was pursued. She was pursued.
Yes, and I think nowadays it's a little different. It's the social media, the Tinder, the Bumble, the things like that, the Instagram. It's just a lot different, and I think I'm more of kind of like traditional in a sense because of my parents, I would say, and my grandparents and stuff like that. But I don't know, it's hard because it's so different now. Yeah. And so I think one thing I look at are their personal values and their family values. I kind of want to align that the same with Christ. Like, I like a guy that's like close to his mother, things like that. I'm from the South, so I don't like to say that, but I like Southern gentleman type. So I think that is something that I look for more because of the things now.
Okay, I heard you mention the word chase. Now, nowadays in our society, exactly. But in this generation, we get I'm not gonna chase him. I'm not gonna chase her. And I just feel like, I think personally it should be 50-50. A woman should allow you to be a man. So if you're going to pursue her, she has to be open to letting herself be pursued. And nowadays you get girls that, I'm not gonna text him back for a couple days. Let me see how he act or what he gonna do. He not taking me here, taking me there.
That person's not ready for a relationship.
But where you get the girls that say, "Oh, I'm ready for it, but he needs to do X, Y, and Z to get me."
Well, then again, they're not prepared for the relationship because of their just like selfishness sometimes. Depends on what you're looking for. We're both in undergrad. We're both broke. We both are living off of like Sally Mae trying to make it. And, you know, for my birthday, he needs to do this and get me this. Like, wait, hold up. You can't do that for your own self. You both are going to owe Sally Mae when you get out of this. So why are you expecting that? You know,
Gotcha.
So that's the thing. And sometimes you have to have like real expectations, not try to keep up so much of what you see in society. Live within your means when it comes to, you know, your finances and work for it.
Yep.
You know, you got to work for it. You know, I mean, when I met him, I mean, broke. Broke. I mean, he was an engineering major who was here on scholarship trying to keep, you know, that 3.0 GPA.
Yeah, but-
Please.
You know, but
When
you
he
get
had
girls.
time.
You get girls that don't think like that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, he's broke, but he broke. He can't do nothing for me. He can't take me
We
nowhere.
couldn't do it. Well, yeah, we were both in undergrad trying to make it. I mean, I'm the only one that, you know, had the job as like an RA, and I mean, that was just, we were already as like one unit in undergrad, but we talked about it early, what we expected from one another and what we expected in a relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, down to our children. I mean,
I was just ready.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so what about that woman with the full-time job, and let's say the man is trying to pursue a dream, or he still has a career that he's trying to make happen, and that woman is just like, oh, you need to figure it out, or you need to get your stuff together. We ain't got the time to be waiting on this.
it depends on what kind of dream does he have. Like, he has a dream to be like a rapper, and he's selling like CDs out the trunk of his car, and there's no savings or
I mean,
like
he could be wanting to
strategic
be
plan.
a football player, a basketball player, maybe even a rapper. Nowadays, we got some rappers that, hey, they're giving out straight garbage and they getting paid. So how would you feel if somebody knocked your dream and said, oh, I don't got the time to wait on that? I mean, prime example, you got your husband. You waited on him? Did
Yeah,
you
I
think of
waited on
engineering?
him.
Did you think of engineering school when he said that to you when he approached you? Like, I'm in engineering school. Oh, I'm going to wait on that.
No, I mean, it was just, I knew, you know, how he was, that he was someone that I could see that would be, you know, a good partner. Yeah.
Where you coming from with it, Trey?
I mean, you got to make, if it's trying to do the sports thing or whatever, you know, you got to be making strides towards that goal.
Yeah.
You know, you can't say, look, I'm trying out for the league in the fall and just sleeping all day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to be making strides to that goal. You know,
Exactly.
and if a young lady can't see that gentleman making strides to that goal, I'll say cut it and move on. You know, because you could find yourself somebody else. You know, it's easy to talk, but if you've got to put stuff in action, then you judge the action.
Okay.
Like what Daddy says, it's easy for some person to tell you that they love you. The way people show that they love you is what they ask, and that means that they work for you. You know, I can tell you I love you, but then when you need something, if I'm working to help you out, then that's how I'm showing you that, you know, I love you.
Gotcha.
So,
What about you, Jay Stu?
What did you ask? Oh, about the goals thing.
Just you know, a man is pursuing you.
Yeah, like I agree. Like I have to see strides. I know one guy who was like, "I'm gonna be a rapper." That was interesting. Let's just say, still, it's like 3 years later, still no single. But yeah, I think you have to.
Radio.
Yeah, nothing. Like not even. I don't even
Gotcha.
think he had like a recording session. But you have to see some things. But I think it all depends on like the time and place. Like I think they were a little different because I think they were around the same age and they were
Yeah. We're the same
school
age.
and,
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, but if we're like 40 and you talking about
You wanna
yeah,
be a
I'm about
rapper,
to get in
yeah.
the studio, like no.
Gotcha.
And
What
then
if-
it depends on how a woman's being pursued. I mean, when
Yeah.
I'm sure when Jerica wants to be pursued, she wants to be pursued about, you know, who you are, not just talking about you physically, you know, but just really getting to know you and pursue you of who you are, and like really listen to your goals
Gotcha.
and, you know, your talents and your skills, and really get to know your family and how that can, you know, how they can fit in your life and how you can fit in their life.
And now, what about it vice versa? You know, a man waiting on a woman. And we just can't make this all about you guys. You know, is a man not supposed to be in the front sometimes of, I guess, the pursuits? When does a woman have to show? When does a woman have to show that, hey, I'm interested in you too, and I want you too?
Oh,
You can't be chased forever.
Well, that's how I got him. I pursued him.
It's so give that. A lot of women won't
Yeah.
do that these
Yeah.
days. Women would not.
Yeah, no, I
women would not
pursued
chase a
him.
man.
Oh no,
Yeah, that's true. But you see, I had a lot of friends in college,
Mhm.
and I hung out with a lot of ladies in college. I'm not saying I was no kind of player or nothing like that. 'Cause
Gotcha.
that wasn't my style, but I had a lot of lady friends, and I looked at her just that way. We would hang out, study. Because honestly, man, I was about my schoolwork, because I wanted to get things done, get it done, set myself up so I can have a career,
Mhm.
And so I was kind of focused, tunnel vision on that,
Yeah.
being focused on that, not necessarily. I mean, it was a wonderful benefit to find my girlfriend and my wife, my mother, my kids. That was wonderful. I'm glad I found that while I was here, but I kind of came in for business, to get my degree and
To
do
get the
well.
bread, set
Right,
yourself up.
exactly. So yeah, but that's right. She did kind of pursue me, for a while.
Now, what would you say to women that don't want to do that? Because I have some friends that are females, and they just, I'm not about to do that. I'm not gonna be the first one to step
Yeah,
up.
Preston always tells me that all the time.
Yeah, I tell
was
Jay
like,
Stu that all the time. Like, just go tell him how you
yeah,
feel.
exactly.
But you got women that won't do that.
Why won't you tell someone if you
I
like?
just, I'm like, we good. Like,
Well, it could be just where you just ask them out to lunch. Y'all can do Dutch, or back in the day, I'd pick up the tab. And what would you tell me? Remember what you would tell me? What I would pay?
No.
You were like, okay, I'm gonna get you later. You handling me now?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and she's definitely gotten the better end of that ball.
But exactly in this generation, that's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But it's so hard for that to happen. 'Cause like I said, I've been a victim of it myself. Like, I'm not gonna keep chasing her, man, and she ain't giving nothing back, or
Was
she
giving
ain't
nothing back.
calling me consistently, throwing me
Oh.
text messages. Man, you get girls that won't even call you for 3 days. Like, bro, where you at? I don't want to
That's the whole
talk.
thing.
I'm trying to
Is
get to
y'all
know
have
you.
to stop playing these games. When y'all are ready
Yeah.
to pursue something, when you are ready for a relationship, when you are ready for marriage, you will work towards it, and there's no games. Sometimes we get too tied up again in what society thinks that what we should be doing, and these multiple relationships, and then when we just do this wedding, we just get tied up in the whole gown and ring and all that stuff. Understand that when you come home, those bills go home with you.
Mm-hmm.
With this wedding and this ring and everything else, because
Yeah.
you don't want to go home with bills, what's the big deal if you have your ring? That if he buys that ring for you, guess what? That credit is on your report when you start when you're married. Y'all both gonna be paying on that ring.
Yeah.
You need to understand that, So we got to stop with the games and do open communication, what we expect from one another. If you see a guy that you definitely can see could fit in your life and has those values and everything that aligns with you, then there's no reason why you can't ask to just go hang out at a movie one day, or go get coffee and just to kind of get to know him that way. There's no reason why you couldn't. You're not asking him to hey, can you put a ring on it? But you're just wanting to get to know him,
Girl, that's
better.
Ruth Chris.
You know,
They work with a Ruth Chris nowadays.
no, see, again,
Call it Ruth
that's
Chris.
just,
Ain't no
that's,
Chili's.
that is just, look, Chili's was good back in the day for us.
The
huh?
Chili's
We
good to
started
me
off.
too. 10 for 10,
yeah.
20 for 20. I'm ready to go.
But
I
I tell students, when we first started off, we had his vehicle, right? Was it a blue Mazda Protege?
Yes.
That was passed down. That's what we had, and then it got wrecked, right? And I remember he was borrowing my vehicle because I finally got another vehicle, and then took part of your loan check to get your suit to go interview.
Yeah.
So when he would interview, he would borrow my vehicle to drive around Texas, everywhere else, for him to go on his interviews to do something,
That's real.
And
Yep.
I mean
That's
that's just what we did, cash the check, go and get them a bag of leg quarter, just
Yeah, that's what we did.
yeah, you just work together and stop with the games and understand Ruth Chris. I mean, I didn't go to Ruth Chris until Like when I brought you for your birthday, that was my first time going.
Yeah, sometimes
I
this is the
mean-
first date. That's meeting
No,
each other.
so that's no. Sorry.
Where you go
no.
from there then?
Exactly. That's it. Where
taking
do you go from
McDonald's.
there, and where do you work from there? Because sometimes, like at one point we would drive around in your blue vehicle, and then it's like, where did life go? Because then we would drive around campus in a blue minivan.
Yeah.
And it was back in those days that we would put our money together, trying to get that box of Popeye's chicken when it was on sale, and don't let it come with 4 biscuits. That was a good meal, and open up a can of corn. What?
Yeah.
And sometimes I wish we can go back to them simple.
Yeah, it was simple. That's right.
That's very simple.
Okay. Well, that also kind of transitions into the next topic. It seems like you guys had a great line of communication going in. How important is having that communication when you're trying to build with somebody, or even meeting someone and trying to get to know them, to even see like, hey, can we give this a try, or is this worth it, or are we going to stay together?
Those questions, that's what you ask.
But yeah,
Exactly
you could
like
ask
that,
You
yeah.
can ask those questions, but so many young men and women in our generation, we hold back. We just stand by Jay Stu, like, I'm not about to ask him that. Hey, I've been there. I'm not about to ask her that. I don't want to
So
just
why
be
do
the
y'all
first
hold
person.
back? 'Cause
be
you
the
don't
first
want-
person to say that.
Yeah, because that's the thing. We're all about our appearances and what people are going to perceive us to be. Like, that's the thing. We're all wrapped up in ourselves. We are a completely narcissistic society now. This generation, like 30 and under, is completely narcissistic. Everything's about them, And, understand that in relationships, you have to show that you're vulnerable.
Sure.
That's it. You're going to have to show your weakness and where you're strong and and everything else. And
To me, I see strength when people are vulnerable. I mean, if you can be true to somebody, everybody say keep it 100. Keep it 100 in that arena as well. Hey, you get your feelings hurt, you get your feelings hurt. Pick yourself up.
Hey, that's my motto. You're going to get hurt by everybody.
That's right. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, man, keep on going.
Yeah.
So to me, it's tough, but it's simple. That model that just.
So what do you say to those young men that, okay, you find there's a young man that does that, but you got a lot of women out here calling men thirsty, or he trying too hard, or he doing too much, and it's kind of like you're saying, ask those questions, but a woman may say, oh, you doing too much too fast, but that's showing the woman you invested. You trying to get to know who she is and where she come from, right? But women are cutting nowadays. They just cutting that off. Like, I don't want to hear that. Like, you got to give it some time, or whatever the case may be. And I understand time.
Yeah.
But at what point do I start to ask you those questions of, hey, what you trying to do with yourself? Where you come from? Or where's your mentality at about this? Girl be on the other line of the phone like, let me already press this red button on him.
Yeah.
Call my girl.
Oh, then they're not ready. Move on.
What about you? What about you,
No.
Jay?
So when should I start asking you those questions?
No, I feel like probably it depends on kind of like at the beginning, but give it a little bit of time to kind of get to know them a little more. A couple dates in, y'all been talking for a few weeks now, and then because you don't want to waste your time, so you want to get that out the way and know, like, is this gonna go somewhere or not? Because then I can go ahead and move on and cut that off. So
I mean, that's we're all about ourselves. We like to, we want to play too much. We want too many things too quick and not put in the effort to get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, people are in debt and everything else, because you're not happy where you are. You're not happy with what you have, and you're trying to fill in, that void. But also, too, that's why you have, marriages now later. Now, whether that's because education opportunities are definitely a lot more available for females, so we typically, want to focus on our career before we do, marriage and kids and everything else. So, you have that, but then you also have, because we're playing around too much. We don't want to seem vulnerable. We're not growing up and wanting to work for something. And then we realize at the age of 35 or so on, they're like, wait, hold up.
I done missed the boat.
Now I want to work for something. Now I want to,
Gotcha. I heard you say something about being vulnerable. That's another big issue in our generation. We're scared. I don't want to say we're scared. I've been scared. I don't want to open up. I don't want to be soft to nobody, and they think I'm a punk, or I'm just, he may not be able to do this, or he too soft. A lot of young men and women, we're afraid, or we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because we can't trust somebody, or I don't know you, or you know, you being too personal, like asking about my family and stuff like that. But I feel like you have to do those things to truly get to know somebody. You gotta open yourself up, but these young women ain't having that. They're just like, nah.
He keeps saying that.
It's real. Am I wrong, Jay Stu? Am I wrong, Jay Stu?
I mean, I think you hear Jay Stu saying that she's open to that, you know, or you know, I guess you hadn't found, or I'm not just saying you, Preston, but you know, they're out there.
Depends on where they're looking too, babe.
That's true too.
Hey, world, y'all need to open it up. Let's all be open so I can find you.
I mean,
coming.
If you meet a girl in the club, what, you know.
Oh no, I stopped doing the club.
But
She
I'm just
rotating phone
saying,
numbers.
you know.
She rotating phone numbers. I get past that. But I mean, I definitely understand what you guys are saying, and like I said, everybody's not like that. But hey, I think that's some good information right there for people to get things going and just to try for a start and get things started. So I definitely appreciate you guys' time and you guys coming to join the show and talk about these things and hopefully help somebody out one day. But
like
hey,
you?
Yeah, like me, I need it. I ain't gonna lie, I need it, man. I'm lonely. I need to get it together. But we're gonna call it a day. I'll see you guys next time, man, for the next episode of Talks from Scratch. I'm your boy P.Pace, and I'm out of here. Thank you to our lovely guests for joining the show today. We're gonna see you when we see you. Peace.